As Posse. Thank you for being here with me. I'm super excited to have everyone in this group. So, everyone who has just joined, welcome to the group. When you join the group, I typically am asking a question of what's your biggest struggle right now? And there seems to be an overwhelming response to that question, which is growth. How do I grow my audience? So, I wanted to just jump on here and share with you 3 ways that you can grow your audience and that you may not be leveraging right now with your podcast. So the first thing I want to propose to you is that you need to ask your audience to share your podcast. So a lot of podcasters are creating great content and they're making great episodes, but they're not necessarily asking people to share their podcasts. So something I love to do in all my podcasts, either at the beginning or the end, is simply ask my audience if they found it valuable or if they know somebody who might enjoy this podcast, to use the golden rule of the internet, which is to share something awesome with someone else. And it's a really easy action for someone to take after they listen to your podcast or while they're listening to your podcast, is to just simply share this with someone. It's free, they don't have to buy anything, and it's some good karma they can put into the world. So that's strategy number 1, is simply ask. Maybe you're not asking people to share your podcast, and you can start right now, and you'll be surprised at how effective that can be. Okay, so the next thing, the fastest way to grow your audience as a podcaster is to be on other podcasts. So you want to become not only an interviewer, but you also want to become a guest on other podcasters. And I'm a huge fan of even going to your biggest competitor and doing a podcast with them. You have to remember, there's enough business for everybody. There's enough ears for everybody. There's enough room for all podcasters to exist. So by going to your biggest competitor and saying, like, listen, hey, we should do a podcast together, what you're going to do is maximize your audience and their audience together. So find a couple podcasts and say, hey, listen, I think it would be great if we collaborated and did an episode. You can even go as far as to do what's called a swap cast, where you let someone else do a takeover on your podcast and do an episode. And then what's going to happen is hopefully they're going to share that with their audience, and they're going to come over and check out the episode on your page and hopefully subscribe and stay as long as the content remains consistent. So be on other podcasts. It's definitely something you should be focused on as a podcaster. And it's very helpful when it comes around for getting more interviews, to be networking and talking to lots of people and being an interviewee and interviewer on your podcast. Okay, so number 3, I feel like this is very overlooked with podcasters. Sometimes I do it myself, is I plan out some content, I record that content, I put out my podcast, and I move to the next one. And I'm not asking my audience for any feedback. So by giving our audience a chance to be a part of our podcast, we're giving them a chance to grow with us. And audiences want that. They want a chance to give you feedback, to tell you what they like and what they don't like. So make sure you're giving your audience an opportunity to give you some feedback about your podcast. Maybe they love one of your segments, but they don't love one of your other ones. I can give you a perfect example. One of my podcasting clients was doing all interview podcasts. So every single episode was an interview podcast until one day he ran out of people to interview. So I said to Tom, hey, why don't you just do a solo cast? Just, you got a great voice, you're a passionate dude, just pick a topic and riff on it for 20 minutes. So he did it. And that particular episode got 5 times as many downloads as any interview that he ever did. So he asked his audience, hey, do you want me to keep doing these solo casts? And the overwhelming response was, yes, we love these solo casts. So by offering your audience a chance to give you feedback, you can optimize the show for what they're looking for and what they like about you, and you can get a lot more information out of your audience. Now, the 4th thing I'm going to share with you is just simply some sound advice about any type of growth you're looking for, whether that's fitness in the gym, whether that's your business, whether that's planting a tree in your backyard. You have to be patient. Things take time to grow. Or, there are some cases of overnight successes and critical mass, but it's really a marathon, right? If you can focus on just slowly gaining subscribers and downloads over time that will compound to a large number. So you have to give yourself a little bit of grace and patience to say, hey, I'm slowly growing, the numbers slowly going up, and that's great. So give yourself a little bit of space and some patience to grow your show. I'll use Joe Rogan as an example. Everyone wants to be Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan started out live streaming to no one, and over 10 years has grown to millions of downloads, right? Because he puts out really great content and he's a cool guy. So, but it didn't happen overnight. He wasn't number one overnight. It took years and years and years of consistently releasing episodes that he liked and was passionate about. So, be patient. If you planted a tree in your backyard, would you expect it to be 100 feet tall tomorrow? No. You'd water it, and you'd look at it, and you'd nurture it, and you'd let it grow at the speed it grows at. So, hopefully that helps you. I know a lot of people are trying to grow their audience, and I just wanted to share those 3 tactics. I'll be back with more, but that's what I wanted to start with you guys today. I hope everyone's feeling good. Why don't you comment below if you've made it this far? What's your mood today? 1 through 5. Give me just type a number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 on what's your mood today. And if you have any ideas on how you've had success growing your podcast, please feel free to comment below. See you guys soon.